All right. Are we live? Is everyone live here? Can you see me? Can you hear me? If you can see and hear me, let me know in the live chat. Let me know if you can see me, if you got the audio coming in. All right. Can you hear me? Give me a, let me know if you can hear. Is the audio coming through? Yes. Okay. We're good. Obviously, I plan to do a live stream tonight on the massive attacks that were, I guess, going to unfold on the power plants and bridges. A lot of bridges were hit. And then right before, as I was getting my notes ready, getting ready to go, obviously, Trump announced a massive ceasefire. So we've got a lot to discuss here. We got a lot to get into. I'm going to shoot you all straight. I don't think this is not, quite frankly, the update that I think many people were expecting. I do not think that this is going to unfold the way people expect it is going to unfold. And quite frankly, this is a horrible, horrible situation. Now I'm going to explain to you why, but we're going to give everyone a couple moments to get in here as this unfolds. Again, I expected this to be, we were going to monitor to the 8 p.m. deadline for the attack, the ultimatum, whatever you want to call it. People were calling it power plants and bridges day. Obviously, that is no longer occurring. So we'll give everyone an opportunity to roll in. Then we'll get right to the jump. We'll start with Trump's statement. And I'm going to explain to you why I think this is a massive, massive, huge mistake. And right after the ceasefire was announced, what did the Iranians go and do? They launched ballistic missiles at Israel. They're not taking any of these threats seriously. We are dealing with a rogue regime. So you can't have a ceasefire, and then as the ceasefire is announced, minutes after it's announced, I'm going to get the footage ready for you here, they go and fire ballistic missiles. So what are we doing here? This is a disaster. If this situation unfolds like it looks like it's going to unfold, this is a disaster. In fact, I'm going to put up a poll, everyone, right now. We'll do a poll. We'll get the audience opinion. Is the ceasefire a good idea? All right, so the poll should be up. Let me see where it is. All right, 94% of you, 86% saying no, it is not a good idea. So these are the early reactions from the audience coming in right now. I see a lot of people saying Taco Tuesday. While we're waiting for everyone to get in, let me know in the chat where you're from, where you're watching from tonight. Let's see a lot of American flags. Our guys are still in danger. So, they're still in an active theater war. Please make sure to subscribe, like the video. That way we can get this out there to as many people as possible. And that way people can know the truth that is going on, what is going on. We got over 8,000 people watching right now. Obviously, people have serious interest in what is unfolding on the ground at this moment. So the poll results right now, 76% of you are voting the ceasefire is a bad idea. So 76% of you are against the ceasefire. We'll give it to the 5-minute mark, and then we're going to roll in. I just don't want anyone to miss anything. I appreciate all the support you guys have been showing me as the war has been unfolding. We've been doing the updates. Hey guys, let's take a moment before we roll into this, because this is going to get lost in the attention now that the ceasefire is going to dominate. Let's give a round of applause for everyone involved with the rescue operation of the F-15 pilot who was rescued right away, and then the Wizzo, the weapons officer on board, the backseat guy who was rescued on Saturday night. on the run inside Iran local time for about 48 hours. Everyone involved in that, incredible mission. You had Air Force PJs, Air Force Special Operations, 160th SOAR, SEAL Team 6, Delta Force going deep into Iran and getting our guys. So we got some super chats coming in. All right, we got enough people here. 5 minutes is up, so we're going to get into it. I'm going to put Trump's statement up on the screen right away. And it says, Donald Trump, this is his announcement to the world. Based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Azman Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran, agreeing to a complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. So he's literally saying the Iranians have to stop shooting as well. Keep in mind, they fired ballistic missiles the moment this was announced. So it says the reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives, and we are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-time peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all the various points of contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So this is the deal that has been put out there. I'm going to explain this in the best way I can. All the Iranian government, the regime, the IRGC has to do is reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and they get to stay in power. I'm going to pull this off the screen at this moment. They get to stay in power. What were the goals? What were the goals of this military operation? And some of you might agree with me, some of you might disagree with me, but I'm just going to lay it out there for you. The goals were to make sure the Iranians could never get a nuke. They have roughly 1,000 pounds of near weapons grade enriched uranium that they still have. During this military operation, which lasted about 5+ weeks, we did not heavily strike their nuke facilities. The reason why is because we were likely preparing a ground operation to go in and seize it with tier 1 operators. So we were like, we don't want them to get a nuke. If they still have the enriched uranium, their breakout time to getting the bomb is unchanged. The uranium is believed to be enriched somewhere between 60 and 80%. So one of the objectives was make sure they can't get a nuke. Well, if they have the enriched uranium, then nothing has changed. Now, we said we wanted to destroy their Navy. We did that. That objective was completed. We said we wanted to destroy their Air Force. That objective was completed. We said we wanted to destroy their missile stockpiles and their ability to build missiles further. By the United States' own estimate, they have roughly 1,000 missiles left. Now, Iran went out and said, we got 15,000 left. Obviously, that's complete BS. But by the own U.S. intelligence assessments, they have 1,000 missiles left. So they get to keep their enriched uranium, which puts them right up to the threshold of having a bomb. They have 1,000 long-range ICBMs. Sorry, not ICBMs, ballistic missiles. They did lose their Navy, and they did lose their Air Force. But as we learned, and maybe it was a miscalculation on the part of the United States, they were able to choke point the Strait of Hormuz without their Navy. Here's another little piece of the puzzle that people might not like to hear, but it is 100% true. And in fact, I'm going to put it on the screen for you. When we killed the Ayatollah, which I am 100% in support of, he was a terrible, evil guy. When we killed him, His son, the new supreme leader, was seriously injured. This is the update on how injured he is. Let me get this on the screen for you. It says missing Iranian Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khomeini is unconscious and unable to be involved in any decision making, according to an intelligence memo, U.S. intelligence memo, weeks after he was severely injured in the U.S.-Israeli strikes that killed his father and ignited the war. Who's running the country right now? Who's running the country? I'll tell you who's running the country. It is the IRGC. The IRGC hardliners love the fact that the new supreme leader is in a coma and can't do anything. So now the most extreme people in the country are the ones who are running the show. And if they reopen the strait, then the ceasefire will hold. And the most radical people in the country, with their hands on the lever of power, with their 1,000 pounds of enriched uranium, with the people not free, there was no uprising. Remember when Trump first announced the video that you got to stay inside now, but eventually you will be able to go out and take to the streets? That never happened. They were never given the order to go rise up and take to the streets. And further, I see we got a bunch of super chats coming in. Like I said, we're doing $10 because we have almost 13,000 people, 14,000 people watching. I'm going to put this up on the screen right now. This is out of Jerusalem. Whoops, hold on. This is right now ballistic missiles coming in from Iran after the ceasefire was agreed to. Clearly, they're not listening. Clearly, they are not impressed whatsoever with this little ceasefire deal. Oh, here come more Iranian ballistic missiles. Again, after the ceasefire deal was agreed to. Here they come. So let me go to the poll. We have 4,000 votes. 70% of you are against the ceasefire deal. Now, some of you might say, I'll pull this down off the screen. We're going to start getting into some of the super chats here in a minute. Some of you might say, there's a big plan. There's a broader plan. This is a 2-week pause. We're going to rebuild, rearm, and as soon as the 2 weeks is up, we're going to go in hard, and that's when we're going to go in, and the people will rise up, and they'll be free. Historically speaking, when ceasefires like this are agreed to, the war never restarts. The markets stabilize, everyone pushes back from the table, they go home, and the wars don't restart. Now, that's not to say they couldn't. Obviously, they very much could. Iran is weak right now. Weak. Yes, they still have launch capabilities. Yes, they still have some ballistic missiles. But they are at the weakest they've ever been. And if there was a time to knock the dominoes over, it had to be now. And remember, I'm only reporting to you what Trump's own stated goals were. Get the uranium so they can never, ever build a nuke. They still got the uranium. We didn't even bomb their nuke sites this time around. So, and the people are still oppressed, which was the whole reason, in part, for this happening. So, quite frankly, I don't know what the plan here is. But if this ends in this fashion, with the most extreme IRGC officials in control, with the people, they're going to be more oppressed than they've ever been before. Because now, whatever little power the IRGC didn't have, they got it all now. The only way this was going to work is they had to be completely uprooted like the cancer they are and destroyed. And instead, all we did at the end of the day, as of right now, things can change. We killed the supreme leader. The other supreme leader, the new one's in a coma. So he's completely removed from the equation. He has no ability to influence anything. So now power falls to the IRGC, the worst people in the country, the people who mowed down their own citizens back in January. That's who's running Iran right now. And if they open the strait, the war's over. They get their uranium. They have roughly 1,000 missiles or so left. They will have complete and total control. It will be more crazy than it was before, significantly more crazy than it was before. And they are going to race to get a bomb. They are going to race to get a bomb. They'd be stupid not to. If we were in their position where we had the enriched uranium, but we didn't have nukes yet, and a country attacked us, and then we got a ceasefire, we would race to a bomb too. Anyone with an IQ above room temp would do the exact same thing. So I am very skeptical that this is going to work out in a fashion that is anything other than a complete and total failure strategically and for this country. It is already for the people of Iran. If this is the end, the people of Iran are going to be in a horrible situation, and we will have failed them. President Trump told them to take to the streets. He told them to rise up in January. They were slaughtered, gunned down, brutally killed. And then he said, help is on the way. We're coming. We got your back. And now we have a ceasefire. The IRGC is in control. They still have launch capabilities. They still were able to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. This is a failure by any and all metrics. I'm being told that Israel has agreed to the ceasefire as well. I'm being told Israel has agreed to the ceasefire as well. So let's get to some super chats, and then we're going to get into updates as they're rolling. We got 15,000 people here, guys. If you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We're almost at 400,000 subscribers. I think we're going to cross it during this live stream. And make sure you like the video so that the truth can get out there and people can know what is going on. All right, let's roll through some super chats. All right, Trump either dropped the ball or, okay, I can't read that on air. I'm going to get in trouble. When they least expect it. You tell us. Thank you, 1999 from Cameron Cash. Look, I don't think there's some 4D chess play here. I really don't. I don't think, again, historically, when ceasefires like this happen, the war's over. They don't generally restart. There's some isolated examples, but generally they hold. And the IRGC has just been gifted the deal of a lifetime. Reopen the strait. It was open before the war started. Reopen the strait. You guys are in control now. I know we said we're negotiating with someone who's way smarter and way more brilliant. We never found out who that was. Make no mistake about it. The IRGC is running the country. The most radical people in Iran have more power than they have ever had before. And guess what? They're the ones with all the guns. So it is a fantasy that the people of Iran who don't have firearms are going to rise up during this 2-week ceasefire and overthrow the government. All that's going to happen is a repeat of what we saw in January, with some estimates as high as 45,000 innocent people got murdered. So, and they told everyone, you get on the streets, we'll just kill you. You get on the streets, we'll shoot you in the face. We don't care. Those are the people in control in Iran right now. With their missiles, with their drones, with the ability to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, to a degree, we, I guess, did not want to use the military to reopen it. So I am, that is quite frankly to me, it's a failure on so many different levels if this is how this holds. Eagles fan Clark, he's been a member for 3 months. This is it. We got a membership you can join too. This is a terrible idea. Iran will just keep striking. Iran will never surrender, unfortunately. Trump took a bad deal. That is my greatest fear. My greatest fear here is that we push back from the table and said, reopen the strait. The markets will stabilize. War's over. And then we kick the can down the road. And again, I cannot stress this enough. They have all of their enriched uranium, all of it. None of it was, there was all this talk about a special operations raid. We're going to go in with Delta Force. We're going to go in with SEAL Team 6, and we're going to take the uranium, and then we're going to leave and declare victory. If we had done that and it worked, that would have been infinitely better than this, because we can deal with ballistic missiles. We can take that. We can deal with that. But they are going to race to get the bomb. And they would be the dumbest people on the planet if that's not what they did. All right, what do we got here? Tony, 2A bet, one of the biggest supporters of the channel, for $10. Thank you very much. Tony, you are great. I really appreciate all your support. Says, not a good idea to give the Iranians this chance to get better targeting info and also give an opportunity to rebuild their capabilities. I do believe this needs to end somewhere, but I don't think it's here. 100%. Keep in mind what he's talking about there with targeting information is the Russians and the Chinese have been feeding the Iranians targeting information. That's how they got our planes in Saudi Arabia. That's how they've been able to get way more precise and accurate strikes, because the satellite data from the Russian and the Chinese, they're tracking where our planes are, they're tracking where our ships are, and they're feeding that information to the Iranians, who are then using it to strike targets across the region. So I agree with you 100%. This is all we're doing is if this is how it ends, we will have to go back in 100%, because everyone agrees they can't have a bomb. Every liberals, conservative, Europe agrees with it. All of the Middle East agrees with it. But we didn't take care of the one thing that mattered most, the enriched uranium. Again, we didn't even bomb their nuke facilities in this war. Why didn't we bomb them? Because the whole idea was we'll do a ground operation, and if you bomb them and collapse the tunnels in, you make the ground operation and the excavating to get through that much more difficult. So the strategic decision was made. We're not going to bomb the nuke sites. We're going to go in, boots on the ground. We want them actually intact so it's easier for our guys to get through. Well, that didn't happen, obviously. So as you guys can tell, I'm very fired up. Not going to pretend like I'm not. We crossed 400,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. We have crossed 400,000 subscribers. All right, I am getting information in on my phone at this moment. Hold on. Just got to check it. Make sure it's correct. And guys, look, I've always told you, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not someone who's going to go out there on camera and just lie to you because it's good for views, good for clicks, good for likes. Although you definitely should like this video. I'm here to analyze the information we have. And the information in this situation is we got nothing other than the strait being open. A strait that was open before the war started. I can't stress that enough. Yes, we did eliminate their Air Force. Yes, we did eliminate their Navy. We did not get all their missiles, and they still have all the enriched uranium. So let me do this. Well, let's start another poll. 68% of you are against the hold on. All right. I'm gonna let you guys weigh in. Is this victory for America? Is this victory for America? Let's see. We got the poll results running in. 86%, 89, 85% of you are voting no. All right, we got a lot of super chats, so I'm going to get through them here. He will postpone attacks on civilian power plants forever because the military's own rules prohibit attacking these targets, and they won't follow illegal orders. Iran has nothing to worry about. So it's actually a little bit more nuanced than that. So yes, a lot of people have been talking about war crimes, war crimes, war crimes. If a power plant is used only for civilian purposes, striking that, yes, can absolutely be a war crime. If that power plant is used to fund and promote whatever you want to say, if it is a vital military interest, dual use is the term. Dual use. That's a term everyone should know. It means, yes, it has a civilian use, but it has a military capability as well, which pretty much every power plant in Iran does. That's just the fact of the matter. Just like a lot of these science buildings that build material for ballistic missiles, those are all military targets. They are actively engaged in the building of arms, which makes them military targets. Power plants, if they are in any way tied to the military, IRGC, are 100% legal military targets. So that it's a bit of a nuanced situation. All right, what do we got here? Medea says it's go time. Happy Tuesday. I don't know what that means. Who's Medea? Who is Medea? Am I missing something there? If I am, I apologize. We regimed change to the IRGC. Taco Tuesday. That's literally the point I was making at the beginning of this video. And I'm sure a lot of you are like, why are you all fired up? Why are you this fired up? The worst people in the country, the IRGC, are running the country now. It used to be under the Supreme Leader. You had the Supreme Leader, you had the IRGC, you had political elements, you had a couple different warring factions, and the Supreme Leader, who was a horrible, horrible guy, deserved what he got. His death was a huge victory for the world. Ultimately, had the influence and power to keep certain factions in line and in bay. He was the ultimate authority. His dipshit son, who's in a coma, has none of that authority and none of that respect. The political wing has been straight up told by the IRGC that if they don't do what the IRGC wants, the IRGC will just kill them, just like they killed the civilians. Make no mistake about it, folks. Make no mistake about it. The IRGC is in complete and total control of the country. They are going to determine when weapons are fired. They are going to determine who lives or dies, and they will rule with a worse iron fist than what the Supreme Leader did, which is pretty crazy because the Supreme Leader was one of the worst dictators in the world. So this, my friends, is not good at all. All right, let's get to some more. We got Cameron Cash 866 for $20. Thank you very much. So what you're saying is it's bad news more than likely. I don't understand why he keeps falling for it, and I'm a supporter, by the way, by not a hater. They just keep walking the dog, it seems like. I don't know. Maybe he thinks Iran will violate, maybe if you're being generous, maybe Trump thinks Iran is going to quickly violate the ceasefire, and then that gives him the ability to go in and just bomb the hell out of them like he claimed he was going to do here. And then he can be justified in doing it. And he can say, look, we had a deal. They violated the deal. And so now I get to go full gloves off. Problem is, they did launch on Israel. I doubt the ceasefire is going to be over because of that. I doubt it. What happens if they say, yeah, we'll open the strait? For staying in charge, for getting to keep the uranium, we'll open the strait. It's the best deal ever. Yeah, sure. A bunch of our guys got killed. We lost a bunch of generals. We lost a bunch of political leaders, the Supreme Leader. We lost our intel people. But the hardliners, they still exist. And they're still there. All this guarantees is we'll be back. And when we go back next time, if the ceasefire holds and the war is over, when we go back next time, it will 1,000% require ground troops. And it will likely be because they race to a bomb. That's the fact of the matter. And they will have time to rebuild. We kicked this can down the road 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years. Let's assume some dove, foreign policy-wise, becomes president in the 28 election. Someone who hates using the military. And then one day there's just an earthquake in Iran in an underground facility. And just like North Korea did, now they got the bomb. Well, you're not going to invade then. North Korea is one of the worst countries in the world. They have nukes that can hit any part of the United States. They have long-range nukes that threaten this whole country. You don't see us invading them. You don't see us doing anything to them. Why? Because once you have the bomb, you're untouchable. No country has ever fought a full-scale war against a country that could fire nukes back at them. We've had terrorism. We invaded Iraq, obviously. But you don't see anyone invading Russia. Nobody invades China. Nobody invades North Korea. Nobody invades the United States of America. We're talking conventional militaries. Doesn't happen. The bomb changes everything. And as soon as North Korea got the bomb, the Kim dynasty was staying in power. That's just the way it is. And if Iran gets the bomb, you will never, ever, ever see them go down. Gaddafi gave up his weapons program. We all know how he got killed. They will race to the bomb. It's just the fact of the matter. All right, what do we got here? We got $20. Slim Shady C, Taco Trump. This is a huge strategic blunder. The Iranian protesters will suffer. The Strait of Hormuz will still be closed. The nuclear program is left untouched. This is a disaster. I agree with you totally, David. I actually think they will open the Strait because why not? They get everything they want. They still have the ability to build a nuke if they want to, and they certainly do now. There were people in the Iranian government who were close to power who did not want to build a nuke on the belief that doing so would get them in a massive war. The IRGC, they always wanted to build a nuke because their thinking was, they're the hardliners, their thinking was, if we don't have a nuke, they'll just bomb us anyways. But they won't if we have one. Those are the people now in charge. Those are the people now running Iran. These are just the facts of the matter. These are simply the facts of the matter. There's no way to spin them. There's no way to twist them. They are what they are. Tony 2A bet back with $10. Trump, Rubio, and Hookstead may have a plan. All we can do is hope and pray. This just won't work. Listen, nobody's hoping more than I am that we have some other plan. I pray we have some other plan. Because if this is how it ends, if this is how the war ends, folks, it is, let's go back to the poll. Let's let the poll. 76% of you say this is a loss for America. 76% of you are saying this is a loss for America, a strategic loss. So I agree with you. I think a lot of people feel the same way. We need the terms of the deal before we decide if this was the right plan. Do we get to remove the nuke material? There's no chance that's part of the deal. If that's part of the deal, my thinking will change. But if that was part of the deal, the Trump administration would have announced that tonight because it would be such a strategic victory. If we got all the uranium and didn't even have to put a guy on the ground to do it, which is what the plan was, by the way, if we got that deal, Trump would have announced it immediately because it would have been great news. It would have been a huge strategic victory. We would be having a totally different live stream right now. They're not giving up their uranium. They're not giving up their uranium because they are going to now race to the bomb. And all that will do is guarantee we are in a situation again where the stakes are way higher and the potential consequences are way, way worse. All right, I got some information coming in here. I just want to make sure. All right, the Israelis reportedly, according to Channel 12 News, are livid with the deal. They accepted it, but are not happy. So right now, and guys, by the way, if you have information you want me to know, bottom of the screen, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X D Hookstead. That's where my DMs are wide open on social media. Send me whatever information you got or anything that your theories, your thoughts, send it there. Give me a follow on both sites. I post a lot of cool stuff on there that you'll like. All right. We all know Trump. Hold on one second. I got to reposition my chair. We all know Trump. Do you honestly think he will leave the situation open-ended? As much as he bitched about the regime, it doesn't seem like there will be a stone left unturned after it's all said and done. I hope you're correct. But again, we got to look at history. History tells us that when you have ceasefires, even one that's 2 weeks, even one that's a week, generally if the ceasefire holds, the war never resumes because everything starts stabilizing, everything starts normalizing, everyone has time to cool down, push back from the table, and the war doesn't restart. And I have a great fear that that could be the situation we are in right now. All right. Trump weakened all of China's allies prior to China invading Taiwan in 2027. Panama, Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran all could have been an ally to divide our forces of 2027. Trump played 4D chess. There's some truth to what you're saying. Who are China's biggest allies? Russia, Iran, Venezuela. Cuba shares intelligence with them, but that's really, in the grand scheme of things, not that important. Yeah, they don't get Venezuelan oil anymore. Who's to say Iran is not going to keep shipping oil to them? In fact, Chinese ships were some of the few ships that were allowed to go through the Strait of Hormuz without being blown up and shot at. So, yeah, we got rid of Venezuela. We're going to get rid of Cuba, I think. At least that's what Trump said we were going to do. And those were strategic things. Let me flip the question back to you. China takes Taiwan in 2027. They launch an attack. The next day, Iran reveals they have a nuke. Which problem are we going to focus on? Are we going to go save Taiwan, or are we going to try to do something about a nuclear-armed IRGC-led Iran? These are the stakes. These are the questions you got to ask yourself. And I'm not sure people are really going to like the answers to some of these questions as they come in. And I'm not saying any of this to scare anyone or make you guys think it's all doom and gloom. It's not. Do we have the suits for everyone for the enriched uranium to be removed? Trust me when I say the United States has the capability to do a ground operation. We got the equipment. The guys who will do it have all the gear. We're ready to go. I don't want to talk about it in too great a detail because we don't want to tip off anything, but we have the ability to conduct that mission. It would be done with tier 1 units that would be responsible. They do train on it. They know how to do it. All right. We got some more super chats. I'm going to do this super chat. Then we're going to get into updates. It says, what about the promise Trump and Hegseth made to the families of our deceased soldiers for this? Seems like they died in vain as a result of this decision. Shameful. Guys, I can tell how many of you are fired up right now. You're fired up like me. I don't have a good answer to that. I do not have a good answer. What do you tell the families? Trump and Hegseth said the families said, go finish the fight. Is leaving Iran with the ability to build a nuke finishing the fight? Again, I cannot stress this enough. Cannot stress it enough. We didn't bomb their nuke sites for the sole purpose of doing a ground operation for the uranium, which they are now going to get to keep if this deal holds. And they have 1,000 ballistic missiles left. So not good by any measure whatsoever. All right, let me see what we got for updates, because there's a lot of news coming in. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh my gosh. If this is true, I'm going to lose my shit. Let me put this on the screen for you. This is allegedly the deal, the 10-point deal. Allegedly, because it has not been unveiled to the public. Commitment to non-aggression. So we're promising to never, ever bomb them again. Iran will have influence in the Strait of Hormuz. Number 3, they will keep their enriched uranium and will be allowed to enrich further. This is what the Iranians are claiming the 10-point plan is. Lifting of sanctions. This is crazy. That is what Iran is saying the deal is. Now, let me see. I'm going to ask. There's someone I can ask. Give me a moment. This is a very fluid situation. Iran is announcing that the strait is being opened. They're opening the Strait of Hormuz. That is what the foreign minister has just announced, that they are going to. They are reopening the strait. Guys, I'm telling you right now, mark this video. This is from the foreign minister. It says safe passage through the strait will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces with due consideration for technical limitations. So if that is what the deal is, I can't even tell you how bad. Okay, I got someone on the ground who is looking for the U.S. version of the 10-point plan. So I'm going to read that back to you. The U.S. has to agree to no more strikes. Iran will continue to have influence of some level over the Strait of Hormuz. They will keep the enriched uranium, seemingly be allowed to enrich more, lifting of sanctions, and U.S. forces must pull back. I can't believe this. I'm stunned. I am absolutely stunned that this is going on. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I am truly at a loss for words right now. Absolutely. So we didn't get the uranium. They're seemingly going to still have some influence over the Strait of Hormuz. Fun fact, they didn't have that before the war started. We will see what happens. Now, I know a lot of people, again, are just going to keep saying it's just for 2 weeks. The war is back on after 2 weeks. Find me a recent example from history where a modern military was involved in a war against another massive country where a ceasefire was agreed to, the shooting stopped, and then as soon as the ceasefire ended, they just started blowing each other up again. Not how it happens. Not how it happens. All right, we got some more super chats. If you want the IRGC to break the ceasefire, just have painted decoys of Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump dancing to the YMCA on an oil tanker through the strait. I mean, that's funny. I mean, it's okay to laugh during this situation. It is okay to laugh. Do we think they would shoot at it? They probably would, right? Let's be honest. They probably would shoot at it. Thank you very much for the super chat, the $10. We got $10. Trump is an illusionist. He has you watching here while something is going on over there. Go get them, boys. Listen, I will be the first to come here. Here's the issue. I was about to say I will be the first to come here and reverse my opinion if during this ceasefire we conduct an operation and get the uranium. If we do that, Iran will start unleashing ballistic missiles everywhere. They'll target everyone's oil production. They'll target infrastructure. We get the uranium and they will retaliate. And then the war is back on. The Strait of Hormuz gets closed again. And now we're going to probably need ground troops. Not ground troops for the uranium. You're going to need ground troops for a full-scale invasion. So I don't think we're going to see that operation unfold, but we shall see. All right, we got $10. The agreement with the devil will not stand. It's not real. The same type regime will start up again. It's already there. It doesn't need to start up again. The most radical people in the country, the IRGC, the most violent, bloodthirsty people in Iran, they're the ones in control. They're the ones in complete and total control of the country. They're calling all the shots. They've got a gun to the head of everyone else in the country. The political branches in Iran have no power. None. They don't do what the IRGC wants. They'll walk them outside, line them up against the wall, and execute them. That's how it's going to work. This is as brutal as it's going to get. And I pray for the good people of Iran. I pray for the good people of Iran because the good people of Iran were told to storm the streets. They were told to get out there, fight for your freedom. We're coming. We got your back. And we did show up and we killed a lot of bad guys and we blew a lot of shit up. Took out their Air Force, took out their Navy. We pulled back. The amount of people inside Iran in this 2-week stretch who are going to be killed by the regime, they're going to hunt down everyone they can find. They will drag them out of their houses. It is going to be horror and disgust on a level us as Americans can't even comprehend. That is the fate that awaits the anti-regime people in Iran, the people who just want freedom. That's what's coming for them. Wait, hold on. People are saying ceasefire is over. Iran just fired at the UAE. Hold on. Let me look. Hang tight. Let me look. All right, we've got more missiles fired. More missiles fired. Hold on. Stick with me. Hang tight. More missiles fired. Fox News' Trey Yingst. Siren sounding across Israel amid new incoming fire. I thought Trump said we had a ceasefire. Got it hammered out. Everything worked. Deal was struck. So they've now fired 2 waves of ballistic missiles at Israel since this started. People are saying the UAE is under attack. Is that true? Maybe the ceasefire will be over by the time this live stream's done. All right, we've got seek shelter alerts are in the UAE. We could have a possible attack underway in the UAE. I'm also seeing here. All right, we got ballistic missile launches from Isfahan. All right. Another ballistic missile launch. And as of 2 minutes ago, 2 more missiles are in there. 2 more. How's that ceasefire working out for everyone? How's the ceasefire working out? Oh my gosh. What are we, hold on one second. I'm getting information in. All right. So we've got attacks underway. We have attacks underway at this moment in Israel and against the UAE. That ceasefire held for, if they cancel the ceasefire, who the fuck knows what's going on at this point, to be honest with you. They might let the ceasefire continue. They might just let these bombs hit and just eat the cost of that and let the ceasefire continue. So the ceasefire, if I got my math here correct, and I was never a mathematician, the ceasefire, by my count, lasted about 1 hour and 4 minutes before 2 different countries were attacked by Iran. These are the people you want to let keep the enriched uranium? Does this seem like a good idea to you? We've got missile fire incoming at this very moment after Trump talked about the ceasefire. I really don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you. This is wild. There's no way around it. All right, we got another super chat here from Prepper03. I don't think this was about Iran, but about Russia and China, as the U.S. exposed them as a non-respondent allies. So I see this to pressure Russia and China into ending the Ukraine conflict in trade deals. Maybe, again, there's a lot of people with like 4D chess. If we had completely rocked Iran, gotten the enriched uranium, maybe a moderate leader had taken over and the IRGC was obliterated, maybe that, and they're completely removed from Russia and China's orbits, like we did with Syria, right? Syria under Bashar al-Assad, allies with Russia, very close allies with Russia, very close allies with China. Assad falls, new guy comes over. Granted, the new guy's also a terrorist. Little minor detail that you might want to know. And now he sides against Russia and China. So there is a lot going on here. Here we go. We got, so yes, UAE under missile and drone attack, shortest ceasefire ever. So there are missiles being fired. All right, we've got bombs raining down on Israel. We've got bombs raining down on Israel. Let me put this on the screen coming from Trey Yingst. Cluster munitions raining down on Tel Aviv. So the bombings, are we going to shoot back? Does anybody want to shoot back? We had B-52 bombers in the air, ready to go for this attack tonight. Ready to go for this attack. Are they still in the air? Can we turn them around and send them right back where they were supposed to go? They're launching everywhere. What are we doing? I mean, you got to be able to shoot back. Oh my gosh. Sources are reporting that the ceasefire deal includes Lebanon. So Israel will have to stop attacking Hezbollah, a terrorist organization. A terrorist organization is now protected by the ceasefire, if the ceasefire even holds. Because let's be honest, it doesn't look like it will. All right, what do we got here? We got $20. Are you really suggesting we invade Iran? How many troops would that take? How many would die? Do you think Americans would be cool with a draft? You're so scared of Iran. Take this money, buy some boots, and go enlist. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's the exact opposite of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we had the opportunity to knock them out for good, with the only boots on the ground needing to be the guys who'd have to go get the uranium in a special operations commando raid. If they get a bomb, or they are right there 2 days away, a day away, God forbid they actually get the thing, then what happens? Then we're going to be in a war that you will see make this one look like a picnic, because now they'll have nukes, and the whole Middle East will want to go to war with them at that point. And not just, think about this. You know the next country that'll get nukes right as soon as Iran gets them? Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia will also immediately acquire nukes. Won't even have to build them. They'll go get them from Pakistan. And in case you think that's a crackpot theory I'm making up, I made a video about this over a year ago. Do you know who paid for Pakistan's nuke program? Do you know who funded the Pakistani WMD nuke program? Saudi Arabia. Then Saudi Arabia went to China and bought long-range missiles that could be equipped with nuclear warheads. Now, why do you buy long-range missiles that can be equipped with nukes? It's because you believe that you might need to use them someday. So all Saudi Arabia is going to do is they're going to go to Pakistan, who they already paid for. They paid for those to be built, and they're just going to go get them from Pakistan. And now Iran has nukes. Saudi Arabia has nukes. Jordan will probably try to get nukes. You will have a nuke arm race in the whole Middle East, a region of the country that, traditionally speaking, is super safe, full of rational people, and no religious fanatics anywhere, right? That's sarcasm, by the way. So again, there are second and third order consequences here that apparently we got. Richard Madsen, $20. Is this a late April Fool's joke? I wish this was a joke. It is absolutely real. It is absolutely real. So the Israelis are telling local news they are shocked by Trump's decision. We shall see. They're saying that we might have agreed to reparations. I certainly hope that's not true. I certainly hope that that'd be the most humiliating thing ever. All right, Tony 2A Bet is back with $10. I say we all try to calm down and see what happens. I don't think Trump will let us down in the long run. This is only 2 weeks, which usually ends sooner. Well, historically, it would not end sooner. Historically speaking, it would hold. Now, the IRGC is loaded with lunatics. So, yes, we should listen. As long as they have the uranium, this threat will always be there. 100%, it will always be there. That is just the fact of the matter. So I don't know what comes next. I don't want to pretend like I do know what comes next, because I don't have a clue. And I'm willing to admit that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Oh, man. Hold on. All right. I can report to you at this hour. This is breaking news. Let me get this up. I've just heard from someone. Hold on. The American hostage in Iraq, Shelley Kittleson, my source just got to me. Let me put this up on the screen for you. Give me a second. Hang tight. So Shelley Kittleson, the American that was taken hostage by Iranian-backed forces in Iraq. So Iranian-backed forces in Iraq kidnapped her. I can now report to the American people she is now back in U.S. custody. I have information about her status due to the respect of her family and the situation. I will withhold those at this time, but I can report to you we have our American back. Our American has been rescued, and this is great news. So Shelley Kittleson, the American they took about a week ago, has been rescued and is now in U.S. custody. This coming after reports a few hours ago she was going to be released. I don't have the operation details. I don't know that. All I know is we do have her. So give me a second here. So we have her. That is great news. Great news indeed. All right, we got some more super chats rolling in. David, can the bombers land loaded with weapons? What happened to Trump saying he will decide to end the war? Sounds like our IRGC got everything they wanted. I hope this is some fake news. Bad call. Yeah, the IRGC did get everything they wanted and then some. The bombers can land with their bombs on them. You can turn the bombers around. You can turn the bombers around. So yeah, they can. All right, we got footage coming in of Israel. All right, let me put this on the screen. We got missiles inbound. Oops, let me get this off the screen. All right, we got cluster munitions raining down at this moment on Israel. Cluster munitions. That ceasefire is working out great, isn't it? You see fire off in the distance. So that is a look at the cluster munitions coming down as the attacks have clearly not stopped. Okay, we have an update. White House officials apparently are saying that I can't believe this is real. I cannot believe this is real. White House officials are saying that, let me put this on the stage for you. It says White House officials are saying the U.S. expects it'll take some time for ceasefire orders to go to the lower ranks of the IRGC. So they're just accepting that the IRGC is not going to stop shooting missiles. And they won't. And they're just going to, chalk that up to, orders have been delayed. They haven't been able to get the new orders out yet. So the Middle East countries are just going to eat missiles. And we're not going to fire back on the basis that it's a miscommunication. Seriously, what the hell is going on here? What is going on? I don't know. Maybe we agreed to the ceasefire to try to get the women and children away from the infrastructure, only to carry on with the bombing later. Weird dynamic. Yeah, but we don't control that. The IRGC controls the human shields in Iran. They're the ones who are forcing people to those sites. And they're not going to stop. Why would they? Because if they stop, then we just have the green light to do it with zero real PR optic consequences. So again, I appreciate a lot of you are trying to be optimistic. A lot of you are trying your best to find a silver lining, find a win here. I respect that. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not sure there's any wins to be found right now. All right, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second as information comes in. All right. We got, I can't read your screen name. You know, I can't. If you ask me, this is the perfect opportunity for some Moab diplomacy. The Moab is a massive, massive bomb. Considering C-130s can fly safely into Iran, drop them. Think the meat shields evacuated the power plants. Yeah, a Moab would obliterate a power plant. It would absolutely obliterate a power plant. Moabs are unbelievably destructive weapons. Hold on. Trying to look at information as it's coming in. Trying to see what we got. So stick with me here for a moment. Again, guys, if you have information you want me to know, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open, so please reach out with whatever you got. All right, let's get into some more super chats. The ceasefire was for the United States, not Israel. No, Israel has come out and said that they will also be members of the ceasefire. So Israel is out on the they are part of the ceasefire. That's the fact of the matter. They are part of the ceasefire. Israel's bombings of Lebanon, Hezbollah areas, as well as Iran, are effectively halted for 2 weeks. Again, I wish I had better news to share with you all. I wish I had much better news, but we simply do not. David, I suggest looking into this a little bit more. I'm no expert on anything other than the needs of my dog. However, no clear evidence of any conditions set between Iran and the U.S. yet. Yeah, so that's what I said. That is what they are claiming. So we know there's a 10-point plan that has been seemingly agreed to. The 10-point plan that has been released, the only one that's been released publicly, is from the Iranians saying this is what the ceasefire is. We're going to reopen the strait. I said that. I said, we don't know. The U.S. has not released its list. I did ask someone for the list. If I get it, I will let you know. But not great. Bubs 420. So you're not suggesting regime change then, because that would be an invasion. You can't regime change from airstrikes. Even if you get the uranium, the regime could just start enriching more. It was pointless from the start. Well, not if we get the uranium and then we flatten all their nuke sites, then they're not going to enrich anything because they don't have the raw materials anymore. Once you've got the raw materials and once you've got it enriched to 60 to 80%, your breakout time for a bomb, which is what they currently have, is not long at all, which is what makes this situation. So, I'm hearing, hold on. Trump. Hold on. All right. So Trump is saying that I guess CNN shared something that might not be true. I don't know what CNN might have shared. Interesting. Huh. I don't know what CNN, I don't even know what Trump's talking about, to be honest with you. John saying we need to take a chill pill. I'm expecting any deal would have to be the 15-point plan. That's right. We don't know. We do not know yet. We know what we know allegedly what's floating around from the Iranian side. All that matters, the number one priority right now is we get their uranium. I cannot stress that enough. We need to take their uranium from them. Any deal that doesn't include that is not a good deal. And furthermore, they're not going to give it up. They're not going to give it up, which means we're going to have to go take it from them. All right, let me see what else we got out here. Pull this off the screen. All right, we got more cluster munitions coming in. More bombs coming in on Israel. Let me get this on the screen for you. This is more cluster munitions raining down on Israel at this hour. Unbelievable. I mean, we are living in an absolutely crazy, crazy time. All right, we got more footage coming in of missiles coming down on Israel at this hour. More missiles. So Israel under significant missile attack at this hour, as you can see. Unbelievable. Well, I'm glad to see the I'm glad to see that the ceasefire is holding. Hold on one second. Saudi Arabia announcing there could be threats coming in. All right. Saudi Arabia announcing that there is potential danger coming in. I do not know if Saudi Arabia is under attack at this hour. We know the UAE has been attacked. We know Israel's been attacked. This is all after the ceasefire was agreed to. Like I said, the ceasefire ain't exactly working out too great right now, is it? No, it is not. So we got a lot is going on. This is a very fluid, fast developing situation. I cannot believe we do not know the fate of the uranium at this hour. That to me is utterly mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Unbelievable. All right, we're going to look for more updates. Give me a moment. Hold on one second. I'm looking to see what we got coming in. Looking to see what we got coming in. All right. We also had strikes earlier today. I'm going to put this up on the screen for you. Give me a second. There was massive gunfire in Baghdad against Iranian militias. Let's watch. So these are forces on the ground fighting Iranian-backed forces in Iran. And then right here, another look at it. As strikes and clashes play out. Oh, man. Should we check what the stock market futures are? I'd actually be really curious about that. Oh, there we go. What do we got? Stock futures are up. Oil future prices are down. All right, we got $10 from Redneck Seth Rogen. Oil is under $100 a barrel. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Listen, I don't know. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know everything that's going on. Believe it or not, Trump doesn't call me before he makes his decisions. I hope there's a better plan here. I hope that somebody has a better plan here. But I recognize this situation is incredibly dire. Hold on. There are apparently explosions now underway in Iran. There are reports. Let me put this on the screen. There are reports that in Khuzestan province, Iran, multiple explosions. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a failed missile launch. Are we now bombing? Are the Israelis bombing? What is the status of this ceasefire? Like, seriously, what is going on? Because I don't know the answer. All right, let's see what else we got here. More missiles have been fired from Iran. More missiles incoming. To be quite honest with you, I don't really understand the Iranian strategy at this point either, because they were going to get pretty much everything they wanted. And now they're launching more and more missiles. Goes to show that you can't trust these people. You cannot trust the IRGC. Unbelievable. Now the Houthis have fired. The Houthis have fired as well. The Houthis have fired on Israel. So you have more missile launches coming in. Unclear if it hit or even made it there at this hour. All right. I trust your reporting 100%, but I refuse to believe that the powers that be at the White House agreed to this. The U.S. might ultimately be trying to lure human shields away from sites to minimize casualty. My opinion. I hope you're 100% correct. I'm not cheering for that, by the way. I'm not hoping that that is what the deal is. I'm just saying that's what's been put out there. And we know that those were all points that Iran has been demanding to get the Strait reopened. So, again, we don't know. The U.S. has not officially released what the ceasefire is. If you just take Trump's statement was simply, if you reopen the Strait, there'll be a 2-week ceasefire. No other demands. He revealed nothing publicly. So that's what we have to go off of. That is what we are going off of. Hold on one second. That is what we are going off of. Tony, 2-way bet, $10. Just wait for this time to lapse. The IRGC will come out of their holes and we'll have more targets than before. Again, if that's true, that's a great development. We cannot, under any situation, leave the IRGC in control in Iran. All it guarantees is the most radical people stay in power. They race to a bomb, and once they get the bomb, the dynamics are completely different. Completely different. I think the IRGC will probably keep firing, and maybe the ceasefire collapses sooner than later if it hasn't already, because we got missiles flying in the air right now. Like right now, we have missiles coming in. China. Okay, so the Associated Press is reporting that China played a critical role to convince Iran to do the ceasefire. It says China helped Iran get on board. So ask yourselves, why does China support the ceasefire? Why did China want Iran to take the ceasefire? Clearly, China is not worried by the terms of it. China needs Iran. China needs the people running Iran to like China, to be willing to work with China. So if they took the deal, that would seem to indicate that China finds the deal's terms to be acceptable. Things are about to get real sporty. And also, by the way, think about this for a second. This 2-week period, what are Russia and China going to do? Now, I've talked about this before. Russia sent in around-the-clock flights of humanitarian aid. If you believe that was full of medicine and food, you're living in fantasy land. What Russia was doing was getting them air defense weapons to shoot down our planes. That's what they were really doing. And then lo and behold, all of a sudden, an F-15 gets shot down. So China and Russia are going to spend the next 2 weeks getting every loose air defense system they can give up and shipping it right to Tehran. That is just the truth. There's no way around it. There is no way around it at all. It's the truth. It's the situation we're in. We got to accept that, and we got to make the best decisions we possibly can off that information. All right, let's see what we got for more updates. All right, there are now more reports floating around that they're not giving up the uranium. I mean, unbelievable. We will wait and see. Hold on. Yeah, guys, I don't really know. This is a wild development. A wild development. Oh, and would you look at that? North Korea is now firing missiles. North Korea is now test firing projectiles. So we get a ceasefire deal, and North Korea immediately starts testing missiles. Little odd, no? Little odd? Almost like when you show a little bit of weakness, it invites bad actors to do things like this. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone because we've got updates coming in at this hour. So we got a lot of updates coming in. Looking to see what we got in the super chats. All right, checking for more updates. Tomorrow morning, there's going to be a press conference at the Pentagon. That should be interesting. So Trump announced on Truth Social, he reshared the Iranian statement. And the Iranian statement says POTUS is accepted the general framework of Iran's 10-point plan as basis for negotiations. So again, it's a fluid situation. I don't really know what's going on, but obviously not a real good situation unfolding on the ground at all. But I'll throw up another poll. I can tell the audience is very disappointed. All right, the new poll is, will the war start again? Do you guys think the war will start again? Dealing with the IRGC is like talking to a brick wall. Sorry, we don't have enough info. Wait for a few days. Sorry, you don't have to apologize, but we know what dealing with the IRGC is like because we watched them slaughter thousands of their own people. They are the ones responsible for all the ballistic missiles being fired, which are still currently being fired after the ceasefire was agreed to. So we know enough about the IRGC to know what they are like. All right, let's see. Let's see what we've got for updates. What do we got for updates? They're rolling in. More ballistic missiles are in the air. The UAE is also announcing that it is engaging. The UAE is engaging air defenses against missiles and drones. So I'm not an expert. Can someone, maybe in the comments who's smarter than me, explain how we have a ceasefire, and one side is still unleashing and the other side is not shooting back? Does that make sense to you? Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me at all. So let's so 90% of you have voted that the war will start again. We shall see. We shall see if that is the case. Let me take a look. Yeah, they're continuing to fire. Iran is continuing to fire at this hour. So it is going to get ugly. It is going to get violent. It is what it is. I would suggest maybe we start shooting back. That way, maybe you show, hey. All right, we got $10 from Smalley Hunter M. China and Russia are collaborating using Iran to soak up U.S. inventory, then insert North Korea to spark a bigger conflict. China's not stupid. Neither is Russia, for that fact. Russia's military is grossly underperformed in Ukraine, but their strategic visions are for the benefit of their countries. So they're not stupid. They are geared up for this. They are ready for this. And they're absolutely arming Iran to do that, to make us eat up or to eat up as much of our stockpiles as we can. No question about that at all. Tim Dillon, 1234. There's absolutely no way the lower ranks of the IRGC can get ceasefire orders this quickly. After we decimated their communication ability, it'll take hours, if not days. That's working on the assumption that the IRGC has any intention of following this ceasefire, or that the IRGC has any intention of stopping shooting. I simply am not convinced that the IRGC gets this deal and then decides they're now really nice people. Again, we left the most radical people, the most dangerous people in the country are now in control. And the political arm of the country has no power. They had some influence when the supreme leader was still alive. And the IRGC had a lot of influence, but not total control, but a lot of influence. Now you have just the IRGC with a gun pointed at everyone else's head. They're calling the shots. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Israel is now firing back Debo 3838. Do we know that? Do we have a source on that? So there is fighter jet. All right. Israel is launching offensive. Israeli fighter jets are in the air. Israeli fighter jets are in the air, striking targets in Iran. So this ceasefire seems to be going great for everyone. Seems like it's working great. We got the Iranians launching missiles all over the place. We got the Israelis sending fighter jets into Iran now. Seems like the ceasefire is off to an outstanding start. Peace achieved. The war's over. And if you can't tell I'm being sarcastic, I don't know what to tell you. So yes, Israel has launched again. Israel going on offense. By the way, I did have to show you all, I did get a haircut. Now I've had hair right now. Had to get a haircut. I have to leave the country for something. I have to go overseas for a little bit. I don't know if I'll be gone 10 days, 2 weeks, could be 10 days. Might have to go longer. Can't really get into it, but I will be out of the country at a period of time. Had to get my hair cut, got to blend in and things of that nature. So you'll be seeing less of me. I will be hopefully be able to get with you guys at some point when the situation dictates it, but there will be an extended period coming up here starting in late April where you will not get as many videos for as long as I am out of the country, which again, can't really talk about it this time. You guys might learn about it at some point down the road, but just get yourselves ready for that. That is happening. All right. Let's see what we got. I'm looking for updates. Yeah, again, I can't really talk about where I'm going to be at this time. Maybe I'll be able to tell you when I get back, but that is why I had to cut my hair, and I also trim my beard too. Important when you're overseas, you want to keep a low profile to the best of your ability. All right, so Qatar is also under attack. Qatar announcing that they are taking ballistic missiles at this time, along with the UAE. So the UAE and Qatar are both under attack. Hold on, I'm hearing. Let me see what is out there. Let me check Trump's. We don't have any more updates from Trump since all the shooting started. I'm looking to see what we got. Yeah, guys, I don't know how this is going to play out. I have no idea how this is going to play out. We're going to have to just kind of wait and see. Someone asked if I have to leave the country because I'm getting deported. No, I'm not getting deported. I'm an American citizen. Yeah, are we going to start shooting back at anybody? Could President Trump have thrown a curveball? There's been leaks, so he said there is a ceasefire, but actually our bombers are still headed in. I don't think that would happen. I don't think that would happen. My guess would be that would not happen. But again, you never know. You never know. We shall see. Trying to see what updates we have coming in. Stick with me. Hold tight. Stay in a holding pattern. All right. We got more cluster munitions raining down on Israel at this hour. Here they come. Here, look at that. Look at the amount of bombs, the cluster munitions raining down. I'm genuinely shocked. There's no other way for me to sum it up. Yeah, I see a lot of you guys are not happy about the ceasefire. So bombs continue to fall at this hour. Let me check some more updates here for y'all. All right. It says a senior, put this on the screen. This comes from News Nation. A senior White House official calls the ceasefire a win for President Trump, saying the U.S. achieved its objectives and that Iran no longer poses the same threat as 6 weeks ago. Again, I cannot stress this enough. As long as they have the uranium, they will always be able to make a bomb. Says the officials added that tough negotiations by POTUS and vice president led to the ceasefire and a roadmap toward a long-term diplomatic solution. I'm telling you right now, guys, we're going back in. We're going back in. I don't see any way we're not. All right, what do we got? What do we got? Missiles are continuing to fly. Pull that down real quick. I'm trying to find information as quickly as I can when it comes in. So there are explosions underway in Iran right now as well. Unbelievable. Yeah, I guess we'll go to bed tonight and we'll wake up. We'll wake up and see if this ceasefire even still holds. Very, very interesting. Unreal. So we shall see what is coming. Let me look what you guys are. Let me look at the poll results. 90% of you saying the war is going to start again after 2,500 votes. This is not the live stream I expected to be having tonight, but it is the one we're having. I'm just reading some of the comments coming in. It's just a very strange situation, to say the least. Yeah, and listen, guys, I know a lot of you are very angry. You're very angry. You're very upset. You have every right to be upset. And maybe there is some grand plan. Maybe there is some big plan that we can't see yet that is going to play out. However, I'm skeptical of that because we don't have any evidence to suggest that. So we got missiles flying in all directions now. We got Israeli fighter jets back up in the sky. And we got the U.S. side talking about what a genius ceasefire this is. So read into that however much you'd like. Absolutely. Let's do another poll. All right, 90% of you. Whoops, wrong button. Hang tight. Hang tight. All right, we got a new poll up. Do you think Trump backed down? Let me know. Let's see how we're doing in the poll. And I'm sure we are going to restock. We're gonna rebuild our stockpiles in this time. I don't have any doubt about that. I'm fairly confident we'll be doing that. In fact, I'm sure we'll be doing that. But it doesn't change much of the calculus on the ground right now. We agreed to a ceasefire, and what did Israel do? I'm sorry, what did Iran do? Started lobbing missiles in all directions again. So it goes to show you the people we are dealing with. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, a lot of people are saying Trump tacoed. Hard to disagree. All right, what do we got? So we've got more updates coming in. Oh my gosh, they might have hit a gas facility. The Iranians might have hit a gas facility in the UAE. They might have taken out the UAE's oil. It says breaking emergency services are responding to a fire incident at the Habshan gas processing facility in Habshan, Abu Dhabi, UAE. The UAE announcing that. I'm going to age myself about 20 years by the time I go to bed tonight. This ceasefire is a joke. It's a joke. We agreed to a ceasefire and they blew up the UAE's gas processing facility. Are we going to do anything? Is the United States of America, are we going to shoot back at anything? The Israelis have already started shooting back. Where are we? We got the biggest, greatest military on the planet. They just bombed the UAE. They're lobbing missiles at Qatar. They've got bombs coming down in Israel. They got bombs being fired by the Houthis in Yemen into Israel. Where is the United States military right now? The IRGC is laughing in our faces. Laughing in our faces. Anyone want to do anything about that? Just, food for thought. All right, more updates coming in. So the Associated Press reporting that Iran and Oman might start charging money for ships to go through the Strait of Hormuz. And Reuters reporting U.S. intelligence warns Iran remains a persistent threat following the ceasefire. Oh my gosh. Oh, look, I reported this before Marco Rubio did. Marco Rubio announcing that American journalist Shelley Kittleson has been recently, she is back in U.S. custody. So that was the American journalist. We have her now. And Marco Rubio officially making that public for the world. Do we think he learned it watching the show? Maybe. All right, we got some more super chats. This is completely a slap in the face to Trump in the U.S. If the president doesn't follow through with his promise of what would happen, we just look weak and defeated. 100% agree. 100% agree. You can't make threats like that, then come to a ceasefire deal, then have them lob missiles all over the Middle East and do nothing about it. Deterrence matters. How do you get deterrence? The bad guys have to believe you will bomb them in response. That's how deterrence works. Hey, if you do X, Y, or Z, we're then going to make a move off each of those. And they have to believe you're going to make that move. So we have to hit back, and we have to hit back hard. This was a leverage play to get the Strait of Hormuz open again and get those ships through. Maybe. I mean, what they want to do is they want to bring down oil prices. They want to have the stock market go back up. I get all that. I understand all that. But the fact of the matter is, it's a little more complicated when, again, they have all their enriched uranium. They are firing missiles after the ceasefire across the Middle East. Israel has already started shooting back. I don't know what's coming next, guys, but it seems like whatever's coming next has the potential to be pretty serious. This is bullshit. They get to continue blowing up the Middle East because their communication sucks. They effing know about the ceasefire, which is some chicken shit. Absolutely livid right now. Yeah, Trump is about to find out that I think a lot of his supporters, are not going to be happy with this at all. At all. We have to start shooting back. We have to start shooting back. I'm stunned. Always Wabbit Country. I love that. I love that screen name. A man is only as good as his word. Anyone else embarrassed. So let's go back to the poll. Let's look at the poll results. What are the poll results at this moment? Hold on. Uh-oh, did we go down? No, we're still there. All right. The poll. 59% of you are voting that Trump backed down. 59% of you are voting that Trump backed down to the Iranians. This is going to be a political disaster for Trump. If this goes sideways, again, I'm not here to tell people what they want to hear. I'm here to tell you the truth. And also, we got a lot of new viewers in. Please make sure to like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the page. That is the best way to get the video out there. If this goes sideways, it'll be a political disaster for Trump. No question about it. To your point, a man is only as good as his word. If you tell someone, if you do this, we're going to hit you hard, and then they do it, and you don't respond, you've just taught the enemy they can do whatever they want without consequences. So there have been 5 separate waves of missiles since the ceasefire was announced. 5 waves of missiles since the ceasefire was announced. Vet Expat in Colombia here. Thank you again for your updates. We need to hammer them if they did, in fact, attack after Trump gave 2 weeks. I mean, come on. It's not up for debate. They did. The ceasefire was announced at 6:34 Eastern time in America. Shortly after 7, about 7:30 Eastern time, waves of Iranian missiles started flooding in. Israel, Qatar, UAE. Now we're hearing a UAE gas processing facility has been struck and blown up. So, yeah, we don't have a choice. We need to hit them, and we need to hit them hard. I know we got a $10 minimum tonight, but Tony 2A bet, he's been great, so I'll give him the exception this time. Says, David, don't forget about the 2 weeks he gave Iran the first time and the 2 weeks he gave Venezuela. Neither were 2 weeks. Yeah, but we weren't in a formal ceasefire agreement with Iran the first time. We bombed them 12 days into the war, or technically maybe 11, depending on where you were at the time. So it's a little different. Israel did go right away at the 12-day war. As soon as the 60 days came, they just went. But it is, I wish I had better, I wish I had better news for you all. All right, we got $20 from Thomas Coleman. Didn't even have a message, just send in $20 to show support for the show. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, what updates do we got coming in? This is unbelievable situation. Like I said, the AP is saying that they're going to charge ships to go through the Strait of Hormuz. We have not independently verified that yet as of this time. So we are working on getting updates. We are monitoring the situation as news comes in at this hour. All right, what do we got? We got $10 from Mentor 6347. No message. Thank you very much. Like I always say, guys, it does take money to do this. The streaming platform, StreamYard that I use, that ain't cheap. I got to pay for that. Well, I'm going to try to do some upgrades to the studio here, try to get some other stuff in here, maybe try to get some higher quality equipment, higher quality gear. I do this all by myself, I make all my own videos. I do any necessary editing. Nobody, it's a one-man band, and that ain't cheap. So everything you guys send goes right back into the show, and I really appreciate everyone who helps out. SRP Valkyrie sidebar. I covered UGA football for 17 years. Those Wisconsin football helmets behind you come football season. I would love to hear your take from time to time. College football, COI FB rules. Back to the drama. Yes, these are Wisconsin football helmets. One there, one there. Got a Detroit Lions helmet down there. I love college football. Love college football. It drives my fiance crazy. In fact, would this be a good time? So who here wants to see the dog? Who here wants to see the dog? We'll do a quick poll. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, the mascot of the show is Dusty the dog. We'll run a quick poll if you guys want to see Dusty the dog come in. Dusty is the mascot of the show. He is almost 15 years old. He is a great dog, and I know you guys love seeing him. I'm going to try to should we take a lighthearted moment? Should we do a lighthearted moment? We've had a lot of negativity tonight, a lot of serious talk. Should we do a lighthearted moment? And I actually have a surprise for you all. When I go get Dusty, you are going to be shocked by what you see when I come back. So let me go get Dusty the dog. We're at 600 votes. 84% of you want to see Dusty the dog. Let's see the comments we got here. How many people want to see Dusty the dog? All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to go get Dusty the dog. We're going to have a lighthearted moment. By the way, you guys can join the membership. That money also goes to help support the channel, help give us the revenue. So we had 700 votes. We're going to get Dusty the dog, and I'm going to show you a little surprise that I think you guys might really like. Hang tight. You guys are going to love this. Hold on. Oops. Hold on. I'm coming back. All right. Hold on. He was actually napping. Dusty. Oh, hold on, Dusty. He's not very happy because he woke up. Here he is, Dusty the dog. Dusty, you want to say hi to everyone? Oh, there he is. There he is, Dusty the dog. Dusty, are you happy about the Iran ceasefire? Oh, he's yawning. He was very tired. And while we have Dusty the dog, I don't know if I can do this with him in my lap. We've got, hold on, I want to show you all this. We've got a Dusty the dog. A Dusty the dog. I'll stand up so you can kind of see it. Hold on. I got to figure out how to do this. We've got a Dusty the dog. I got this as a gift. So we've got the dog who's just in here, and this is actually him. World War II helmet, smoking a cigarette. Right there. Dusty the dog t-shirt. What do you guys think of the Dusty the dog t-shirt? All right. He went back to bed. He already ran off, went back to bed. All right. What do we got? So now I have the Dusty the dog t-shirt. Not too bad, right? My mom made that for me. Let me know what you guys think of the t-shirt. Let me see if I can pull up a Dusty the dog t-shirt photo for you all. I'll put it on the screen. This is what I'm wearing at this very moment. Let me see where it is. I got a good photo of it somewhere. But yes, my mom made me this. Hang tight. So this is the t-shirt. I'm going to put it on the, my mom made me this. How cool is that? This is the shirt. All right. I'm going to put a poll in because we showed the dog. We're going to do a poll now. All right. Do you like the Dusty the dog shirt? That's it right there. Pretty neat, huh? Yeah, my mom made that. Not bad, right? Pretty neat. We got 90% of people like the shirt after 350 votes. Some people don't like the cigarette. Guys, it's supposed to be like an old school World War II guy right after battle, lighten up. Come on, let's not take it too seriously. It's a fun dog shirt. I see some Dusty 2028. 89% of people like the dog shirt. All right, people like the dog shirt. I agree. I think it's a good dog shirt too. All right, we got more super chats coming in. We've got, just because Trump doesn't respond immediately doesn't mean he's not going to. Timing is the key. That could, again, the problem here, guys, is number one, we don't really know what the hell's going on. That's just the fact of the matter. But if we're going to let Iran just bomb the Middle East and no one's going to shoot back, what are we doing? What are we doing? At some point, you got to shoot back, and you got to shoot back hard. So the U.S. is denying that it accepted Iran's 10-point plan. Here's where this gets confusing. Trump posted on Truth Social, Aragachi, the foreign minister, he posted his statement, which says that the 10-point plan is part of the basis for negotiations going forward. So now they're saying, no. But this is where things get so confusing, because at the end of the day, all right, let me check to see if this is, I don't know if that's accurate enough, so I'm not going to say it yet. They broke the ceasefire already. Ceasefire's been broke. Ceasefire has been broke. They launched missiles after we came to an agreement. So if you launch missiles after an agreement, that means the ceasefire is broke. Unbelievable. I did not expect, I had no idea. Oh man, I'm a little disheartened. I'm a little disheartened. No question about that. All right, we got more super chats. I'm beyond disgusted, embarrassed by this joke of a ceasefire. Linda Kierton. Yeah, a lot of people feel the same way. We've done polls throughout the night. A lot of people are very upset. Here is an American, and I want to know what you guys think. As an American, it is my opinion that when we tell somebody we are going to back you, we're going to help you. They were murdering protesters in the streets. So the U.S. said, stay on the streets. We are coming. We've got your back. We are going to come save you. War starts. You can't leave when the people who were shooting the civilians in the streets are now running the government. What? These people gave their lives on the belief that we were coming to help. So, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are very, very upset. I think a lot of people are very, very upset. I'm glad you all like Dusty a lot. I'm sure that's nice to see. You want to see my fiance? I don't think she's coming in here. There's photos of her online on Instagram if you're that interested. $10 from Howard. I appreciate your dedication, guys. I appreciate the fact you guys are here. If you guys weren't here, I would never be able to do this. I only get to do this because of you guys. You are the reason I get to do the greatest thing I've ever done, which is to sit here with you guys, break down current events, monitor the situation in real time. That is all because of you. It has nothing to do with me. So thank you very much for saying you appreciate your dedication. I want to thank all of you, because if it wasn't for all of you, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing this. And I know tonight is not a very fun night. I usually try to keep this fun, try to keep it very, very informative, but lighthearted, kind of like you're at a bar with your buddies. What happened today is not great. Let's just be honest. And that is, I don't want to say dragging things down, but it is what it is. So I'm trying to bring a little bit of levity to the moment, the best I can. But I appreciate the fact you enjoy the show. And if you guys ever want to reach out to me, if you guys have information, you got tips, Instagram, David_Hookstead, XD Hookstead. That's where you can find me at. All right, we got Brian Burkhart, $10, no message. Thank you very much for the support, Brian. Every little bit helps. Like I said, this is not easy to do. This is not cheap to do, but I do it because, one, I genuinely love it, and two, I think it's important. We got $20 from Can Man. I am blown away. If the bombing continues and we do nothing, I don't even know what to say. God bless you all, and thank you for your hard work, David, true patriot. I think a lot of people feel that same way. As soon as they fired one missile after the ceasefire started, I do not understand why we didn't go in and just pound the living daylights out of them. I truly don't. I truly don't understand that. We came to a deal, which I think is a terrible deal. Any deal that ends with them having enriched uranium or the IRGC being in power or them having 1,000 ballistic missiles so we can go run this back in 6 months and do this all over again. You know, I was talking to a guy a couple days ago. I can't tell you who it is. He served at the highest level of the military possible. I don't even want to say the unit he's in. And him and I were having a conversation, and the general vibe of the conversation is, if you want to win a war, you go in, you beat them violently, hard, fast, you win, and then you leave. Then you come home. You don't do half measures. You don't do, well, maybe we'll get a ceasefire now. Maybe we'll be back in 6 months. Maybe we'll be back in a year. When you make the decision to attack someone, you fight to win. And you don't stop until the other guy's begging to surrender. Person breaks into your house. They're armed with a weapon. Do you stop shooting because they ask you to? Do you agree to talk it out in the kitchen? Or do you engage the threat, eliminate that threat until that threat no longer exists? We all know the answer to that question. So we have got to respond, and we got to respond in a big way. Really trying to stay a dog lover. Just had to steam clean 2 rooms because we have a 15-year-old beagle mix with some seriously funky guts. So gross. That is, unfortunately, just like when humans get old, dogs get old. They're going to be prone to accidents, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't true. There's nothing, watching a dog get old and losing its ability to kind of stay at its highest energy level, stay in the fight, and its edge is gone, and that's tough. Just like with a human. We all know, we talked about it on a stream not that long ago. We all know when a dog dies, that's just brutal. It's just brutal. It's always going to be brutal, and there is nothing that will ever change that at all. Give me 1 second. Looking at some information coming in. All right. Be careful because your mom is watching and she may not want to make 50 billion t-shirts. LOL. Great job, Mom. Shout out to Mom. So I'm going to put it back up here. He's always Rabbit Country is talking about the Dusty the Dog t-shirt, the mascot of the show. He's a major figure of the show. We love him. And he is, I thought, you know what? I had some other options, some other ones we did. And let me see. I had another one. Let me see if I can find it. We had another shirt design that we almost made. I'm going to show it to you. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. We also had this was the other design we made for the shirts. We had a Vietnam style as well. These aren't for sale. They might be at some point. I don't know. But this was the Vietnam style one. So Dusty the dog got his dog tags, got his grenades. So yeah, I hope you guys like it. But let's get into some more super chats. Reports are saying Iran will be handing over the uranium. I have not seen that. I hope that's true. I would love it if that were true. But I have not personally seen that. Where are those reports coming from? All the reports that I'm seeing is that they're going to keep the uranium under international supervision, which means absolutely fucking nothing. All right, we got Patriot free. This fake agreement is what it is. Trump chest, have a good game, IRGC. Listen, if there's some grand secret plan that we don't know about. I would love nothing more than for that to be true, where they get their guard down, we come in, and then sorry, there's major news. More missiles are raining down on Israel. More missiles are coming in. So this is unbelievable. Unbelievable situation unfolding in real time. I hope there's some big secret plan. But I've not seen any evidence to suggest that's the case. All right, we got Chimp with Wi-Fi for $10. Didn't even have a message. Thank you very much for supporting the show. Mark Jameson, 9132, $10. Thank you for supporting the show. John Galt, 792, be patient. Iran has emptied their cannons and the ceasefire is back up. Are we sure that the ceasefire is back on? Are we positive it's back on? Because I don't know. I don't know. Let me see if Trump has released any more statements. Nope, Trump has not released any more statements. Missiles are still flying. Maybe it's a ruse to get the women and children off the bridges. I'm doubting. Yeah, I'm doubting that too. I don't think that is. I don't think that's what's happening. By the way, 1,200 votes, 1,300 votes in the Dusty the Dog shirt. 80% of you voting. You like the shirt. I'm going to end the poll. All right. IRGC are split as some are defying orders. Trump lets IRGC implode and fight each other. Leverage to U.S. and Israel later if they don't stop. That's an optimistic view. I'll give you that. I would love to watch the IRGC implode, but you got to remember the IRGC are the most fanatical hardliners in the country. They are the most brutal. They are the most violent. They will kill because they're bored on a Tuesday. These are the people that murder civilians on the street and then go back to bed like it's nothing. And they are the ones with all the guns. They are the ones with all the missiles, all the drones, all the guns. And a basic fact of life is whoever has the guns makes the rules, especially when only one side has all the weapons. Now, here in America, you got the military, you got police, and then you've got 100+ million Americans with guns. So you got guns everywhere. Everyone's got access to a gun. Makes it totally different dynamic. Totally different. Over there, that ain't how the world works over there. The IRGC has all the weapons. They decide who lives and dies. And they are the most evil people in the country. And now they're running the country. And they've made it clear. They made it clear when the new supreme leader was chosen. If you didn't pick this guy because he's in a coma and useless, so we get to do whatever we want, they literally told the Council of the Experts, if you don't do this, we'll kill you and find someone who will. So these are not people you want to be negotiating with. These are not people you can work with. They're horrible, horrible, horrible people. And I don't give them any benefit of the doubt whatsoever. I have a feeling that we're gathering data from missile launch sites from now and the rest of the night. Also, Lacrosse just launched a see you next time quick trip drone. Is that true? Hopefully they like the cheese sticks. I see it. You're making a joke about them bombing Iran. Wisconsin Cheese Gurt 5, $10. Thank you very much. Quick Trip, for those of you who don't know, gas station, huge in Wisconsin. Not just a gas station, though. It is the nicest gas station you'll probably ever go to. There was a Quick Trip not terribly far from where I grew up. And like all the high school kids would work there. Every job I had growing up was terrible except for one. So I didn't get to ever work at Quick Trip. I worked in like factories and stuff. And trust me, I love factory workers. Some of the most entertaining people I've ever met. And I did that for years when I was in college. My college job was working in a factory during the summer months. And I loved the people I worked with. They were the best Americans out there. That's why I care so much about regular Americans, because I grew up with, I'm a regular American. I grew up with regular Americans. I grew up in rural Wisconsin. I'm not some fancy elitist dude who lives a high lifestyle. Furthest thing from it. Not even close to what I am. Having said that, I could not stand working a factory job. Couldn't stand it. You just sit there on a conveyor belt for 8 to 9 hours and you just work. Now, the cool part of that job was they let you work as much overtime as you wanted, because I was a college student on summer break. I would work every day, and just bank money, pay off school. So there was that benefit, but I'm not diminishing people who have jobs at factories. I worked that for years. I just hated it. Loved the people, amazing people, hated working there. All right. I fear if this deal stands, the Iranians won't forget, creating a new generation of hatred towards the U.S. Just ask the Kurds who faked out the U.S. and kept weapons meant for the Iranian people. Yeah, no, your word matters. Your word matters. So when you tell people we're going to back you up and then you don't do it, you lose credibility, not just with the enemy. Of course, you're going to lose credibility with the enemy if you don't punch him in the mouth when you say you're going to. You lose credibility with the people who think that you're going to back them up. It's just that simple. It is honestly just that simple. All right, I'm looking for more updates as they're coming in. I'm looking for updates as they're coming in. All right, what do we got? All right, Israel's hitting ballistic launch sites. I repeat, Israel is hitting ballistic launch sites at this moment. I'm going to put this up on the screen for you. All right, Israel is hitting the launch sites. So wait, is the ceasefire on or is the ceasefire off? I don't know. I don't know. The Israelis are hitting the launch sites. Okay, so we have confirmed Israeli airstrikes against ballistic missile launchers at this hour. So that is an update. The launchers are being hit. The 8 a.m. press briefing tomorrow morning should be very interesting. John Babcock. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. And I don't say that in a good way. I do not say that in a good way. Again, I'm very hopeful that this is not the end, that the people of Iran are free, but we shall see. All right, what do we got? We got always Wabbit Country. Remind me, the mom of this house, to be able to tell my son, David, about what IRG stands for. It's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Are you asking like what the acronym is? It's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Brutal people. If you're asking what they stand for, they stand for death and brutality. They stand for barbarism, pure evil. They stand for the oppression and killing of the innocent. That's what they stand for. We are Americans. We stand for everything that is opposite of that. We stand for freedom, liberty, the opportunity to get ahead in life. You have the right to protest in this country. You have freedom of expression. You have the ability to go out there and change the world, make it a better place, pursue any job you want. That's what America stands for. And when we tell people we're going to back you up, and we're going to back you up, and we're going to protect you, and we're coming to your aid, and then you end the war, you get a ceasefire, if you ask me to bet, I think this war is over. Ceasefires generally don't break. Historically speaking, if we look at history, ceasefires generally hold, which means this war will have ended with the IRGC running Iran, 13 dead Americans, more than 300 wounded, and a more radical faction took power. And they have the enriched uranium. Hard for me to believe that's a win. Hard for me to believe that's a win. All right, what do we got? Checking for updates. All right. A lot of people are very upset. A lot of people are very, very upset. All right, what do we got here? Just trying to see what we got coming in. Let's do another poll. We'll poll the audience. All right, so I'm asking, are you happy with Trump? 56% saying, 72% saying no. And guys, while I have you here, I want to put this on the screen for you. Hold on one second. I'm going to try to find this. So I do want to talk about the pilot rescue. And I want to play some of Dan Kane's comments. So for those of you who missed this, I'm going to get up, give me about a minute, 30 seconds. All right. So I'm going to put this on the screen for you. Guys, I am so proud. Let's see a lot of American flags in the chat right now. Our rescue of that pilot is the most remarkable thing I have ever seen. I thought the Venezuela operation was crazy. And guys, I've been talking with people involved in this situation. The amount of firepower, synergy, coordination to find this guy and bring the F-15 weapons officer home is incredible. So let's watch some of Kane's comments here, and I will be right back. I'm going to put this on the screen for you. He lays out just how intense this operation was, and then I'll be right back.
Around operational security. The Secretary and I will do a more detailed briefing tomorrow morning, and we look forward to sharing the details that we can. On Thursday, 2 April at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:40 in the morning, local Iran time, the Joint Personnel Recovery Center, which handles the Central Command area of responsibility, declared an isolated personnel recovery event for a U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle, call sign Dude 44, which was down in hostile Iranian territory. The pilot and weapons system officer had both safely ejected and were isolated behind enemy lines. Following confirmation of active rescue beacons and on the direction of the Secretary and by order of the President, a rescue operation was launched with the stated purpose of bringing both Americans home safely. As the Secretary said, several hours later on the morning after positively locating the front seater, call sign Dude 44 Alpha, and aware of an aggressive ongoing search by the enemy, a U.S. Central Command plan was approved by the Secretary and the President. Shortly thereafter, a U.S. Air Force Combat Search and Rescue Task Force comprised of A-10 Warthogs in their Sandy role, and I'll describe what that is in a minute, HC-130 Combat King 2s, HH-60 Jolly Green II helicopters, and Air Force Special Warfare Airmen, a package comprised of combat rescue officers and pararescueman operators, audaciously penetrated enemy territory in broad daylight to find, fix, and recover Dude 44 Alpha from behind enemy lines. This was an incredibly dangerous mission, an incredibly dangerous undertaking, but a filled promise made to every American warfighter that you will not be left behind. We will always come find you, and we will always bring you home. Over the next hours, the search and rescue task force crossed the beach, entered into Iranian airspace, protected by a fighter strike package, and moved into the objective area, all under fire. En route, as some of you have seen on social media, the helicopters took gas off the C-130s and pressed onward and forward up into the objective area. While this was ongoing, and out in front of them, the Sandy flight of A-10s and other remotely piloted aircraft, drones, and other tactical aircraft were violently suppressing and engaging the enemy in a close-in gunfight to keep them away from the front seater and allow the pickup force to get into the objective area. During this engagement, one of the Sandy aircraft, the one primarily responsible for communicating with the downed pilot, was hit by enemy fire. This pilot continued to fight, continued the mission, and then upon exit, flew his aircraft into another country and determined that the airplane was not landable. This was one of our A-10 Sandy aircraft. The pilot then made the decision to eject over friendly territory and was quickly and safely recovered and is doing fine. After picking up Dude 44 Alpha, the HH-60 Jolly Green fight was engaged by every single person in Iran who had a small arms weapon. And one of the aircraft, the trailing aircraft, took several hits. The crew sustained minor injury, and they are going to be fine. A note for those of you that do not know what a Sandy does. Named after the flight call sign that did this very mission in Vietnam, flying A-1 Sky Raiders and A-7 Corsairs, a Sandy has one mission: get to the survivor, bring the rescue force forward, and put themselves between that survivor on the ground and the enemy. They are committed to this. This is what they live for, and this is what they've trained for over many, many years.
I just want to pause this real quick, and then we'll get more into the chat after that. I hope you guys understand the extreme level of exceptional military skills you have to have and military power you have to pull off an operation like this for two.
The A-10 force and the rescue force.
Let's see some American flags.
Did a fantastic job rescuing Dude 44 Alpha. He was recovered Friday afternoon. As I said, and the nation needs to know this, this was an incredibly brave and courageous mission, and a testament to the courage, skill, and tenacity of the joint force and our leaders. And especially a daylight option, having the guts to try, means so much to so many. Meanwhile, the backseater, as the president and the secretary have said, had continued to work and survive. Through the hours of daylight, Dude 44 Bravo, the backseater, evaded. Using every means available, the efforts of the United States military, the Central Intelligence Agency, and others were attempting to find and locate with precision Dude 44 Bravo, the backseater. A note on the backseater and the front seater. The single most important contributor to a successful rescue operation is the spirit of attack inside the heart of that downed aviator. Their will to survive, their will to evade, their will to recover is everything. In this case, the backseater's absolute commitment to surviving made much of our efforts possible. On Saturday, 4 April, after establishing positive communications with the backseater, we learned, as the president said, that he was injured and actively evading enemy forces. And thanks to our interagency partners, we were able to get eyes on his location and positively ID him. Throughout this entire time, the enemy force continued to search for 4-4 Bravo, and the joint force continued to strike them over and over and over again. Fighting off marginal weather in Iran and the enemy's search for a second time on Saturday, at the recommendation of the CENTCOM commander and at the approval of the Secretary and the President, we launched a rescue task force to recover Dude 4-4 Bravo. Again, this came to the President and the Secretary for approval, this time with a much larger force package based on the time that the enemy had to prepare to find 4-4 Bravo. Again, this force was protected by A-10 Warthogs using the Sandy call sign. And this force had one single mission: do everything they can to bring an American home. This meant having a plan, being prepared to execute that plan, and more importantly, being prepared for multiple simultaneous contingencies. And because of this force's professionalism, grit, and determination, fight off two enemies at the same time: the enemy searching for 4-4 Bravo and contingencies, which anyone who has done these types of missions knows we run into every single time. The force fought off both of those enemies incredibly well. During the period of darkness on Saturday, and as the Secretary said, into Easter Sunday and into the daylight, the force fought its way in and rescued Dude 4-4 Bravo. They were protected overhead by an air armada, including tactical drones, strike aircraft, and others. The force fought through multiple simultaneous contingencies, something no other nation, no other military can do, and safely returned Dude 4-4 Bravo, the backseater, home, and all other Americans home as well. At midnight 12 local Eastern time, Easter Sunday, more than 50 hours after the start of this operation, the Joint Personnel Recovery Center declared Dude 4-4 Bravo, both the front and back seater, returned to friendly territory. The courage demonstrated by both the pilot and the weapons system officer while isolated and them invading the enemy cannot be overstated. Their grit and warfighting tenacity is a direct result of the absolute trust they have in our rescue forces, their training, and their will to survive and return. They always knew that we would be ordered to go get them, and they always knew that we would be coming to get them. These two operations reflect our nation's most sacred obligation to our military service members. We leave no one behind, bless you. It also perfectly captures the first truth of our special operations forces, that people are more important than hardware. That is the standard we live by, and the rescue forces that execute these missions operate under a clear motto: these things we do that others may live. Their actions were a direct embodiment of that commitment to others, and I could not be more proud of each and every one of them today. As the Secretary said to our enemies, this operation serves as a clear reminder of the capability and will of America's joint force. The United States of America will recover our warfighters anywhere in the world, under any conditions, when we want to. We will always bring overwhelming skill and firepower. To every member of the joint force, our interagency partners, the leadership at CENTCOM, and our leaders at the department and above, thank you. I'm proud of each and every one of you, and thankful to our deployed forces and their families. And lastly, and most importantly, to Dude 4-4, welcome home. Job well done. Thank you.
Damn, guys. I'm almost tearing up. I know we are not happy right now. I know we're not. And for good reason. But I hope you all understand. Let's put the ceasefire aside. Let's put the politics aside. We had two guys go down deep behind enemy lines. And you know what happened? A bunch of Americans put their gear on, got into helicopters, got into planes, and they launched into hostile territory to find those two men. We found the pilot rather quickly, the weapons officer, the Wizzo, 48 hours on the run in Iran. And I know there's a lot of capabilities they don't want to talk about publicly about how they found this guy. According to the information that's out there and that what I was told, when they got this guy, there was intense firefights underway. SEAL Team 6, Delta Force were involved, Air Force PJs. Most people don't even know what Air Force Special Operations is. They don't know what PJs are. They don't know what CCTs are. They don't know what the 24th STS is, which is their Tier 1 unit. Hardest dudes on the planet when it comes to getting shit done and getting people home. The PJs are a different breed of humans. Their sole job is on a pilot's worst day, go in there facing imminent death and bring that guy home. And so I want to take a moment tonight, given how a lot of people are feeling, a lot of anger, a lot of disappointment. Let's take a moment to honor everyone involved in that. The Air Force Special Operations guys, the PJs and the CTs, and everyone else on the Air Force side, the SEAL Team 6 dudes that got on those little birds, flew up in the mountain and grabbed that guy, the Delta Force dudes who had to come into the airfield that we built inside of Iran, I would add, which is crazy. And also, it's like we have the military capabilities to build an airfield in a country we're at war with, and yet we're going to accept this ceasefire. Why? Why? Finish the job. But anyways, I digress. Those dudes that went in there knowing what could happen. We had guys in helicopters hit. We had guys in an A-10 hit. We took some tough hits, but this is America. And the promise we make to our service members is if you are ever behind enemy lines, we are coming to get you. And we will send everything we have. We'll lose airplanes. We'll blow up our own airplanes. We'll blow up our own helicopters, but we're not leaving a man behind. And so on Saturday night, I was watching it play out in real time, following constant updates. And I was damn proud to be an American, because that group that went in, the Air Force guys, the Navy SEALs, the Delta Force dudes, the 160 SOAR pilots, all of them, heroes, start to finish. And I've heard that some of the reporting that's out there is not very accurate. Some news outlets have said there was no mass gunfight. I've been told by people I trust there was an intense amount of gunfire going down. But we were bringing our guy home no matter what. And also, I hear these absolute, I want to be careful with my words, pieces of garbage who are like, yeah, it's good that we brought him home, but we lost 2 planes and a couple of helicopters and like $400 million worth of gear. What? You're weighing the life of an American service member, a downed F-15 crew member, hundreds of miles behind enemy lines, and you're weighing his life against equipment? I'd burn down 10 planes right now to bring one American home. Because when we send them up in the planes and we tell them, go do this job, we make a promise with them. If anything happens to you, we're coming to get you, and we're bringing the full might of the U.S. military with us, and you're coming home. And it doesn't matter what we have to do to get you home. You're coming home, because this is the United States of America, and nobody is being left behind. So I hope you guys take as much pride in that as I do. But let's see some American flags in the live chat. Let's see some congratulations for everyone involved. Let's see some prayers for everyone involved. That mission was absolutely incredible and a reminder of what the United States is capable of. And I know we're all feeling a sort of way right now. And I didn't have the opportunity to go live right when it happened. I almost, well, I don't want to. There was a lot of things going on Saturday night as information was coming in. The video I posted came out a little later than I would have liked it to have. That's because I wanted to make sure everybody was out before I posted it. I wanted to make sure every plane, every helicopter, every guy was out of the country. So there was a slight delay. So I apologize for that, but we're Americans. We don't lose anyone. So let's go to some super chats. Thank you, David, for all your time and effort. I understand. U.S. Air Force A-10 pilot. Wow. Bravo to Raising Cane and Secretary Hookstead. Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom on Easter Sunday. Number one, thank you for your service. The A-10 is the coolest plane that's ever been built. I will die on that hill. A-10s in this war have saved countless lives and were pivotal in the rescue effort to bring our boys home. So the fact you're an A-10 pilot is absolutely incredible. Thank you very much for what you do. Thank you very much for your service. And thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. I'm looking at new updates. So they are saying Iran's supreme leader is telling the IRGC to stop firing. Good luck. Good luck, my friends. We'll see if that works. Hold on one second. Information coming in. I know we're all very upset, but like I said, I bring you guys the news. I try to tell you the truth. And unfortunately, I do not have much faith in this situation. Hold on one second. Trying to get some stuff here. The chats just keep flooding in. Hold on. Stay with me. Stay tight. Information is coming in. Hang tight. All right, I'm looking for more updates. It appears the missile fire, for what we can see right now, has subsided. But we shall see. It is a very serious situation. It is a rapidly developing situation. We're going to see how it all plays out. But obviously, a lot of moving pieces. A lot of moving pieces. So we'll go here for a little bit longer. Get your chats in. At this point, we've covered someone saying that I don't have any faith. Okay, number one, if you come in here and you tell me I don't have faith in what's going on, I've been covering this since a month, 6 weeks before it even started, following plane movements, ship movements, troop movements, following everything we could do. I also followed when President Trump said, get on the streets and protest. Take your country back. We got your back. We're coming to free you. So don't tell me I haven't followed the situation. I don't have faith. I've followed it every step of the way, multiple times a day, all day, making phone calls, talking to sources. And the fact of the matter is, as long as they have the uranium, this is not good. That's as simple as it gets. It doesn't get any simpler than that. So, all right, what do we got? You guys have been killing it in the chats tonight. Someone called it Operation Epic Failure. I don't want to go that far. Guys, we did meet some objectives. Let's be clear here. We wanted to get rid of their Navy. Their Navy's gone. We wanted to get rid of their Air Force. Their Air Force is gone. Their missile stockpiles have been depleted. No question about that. They still have missiles left. 100%. 100%. But this was about making sure they could never get a nuke. And they have roughly 1,000 pounds of near weapons grade uranium. And so did we really complete our objectives if in 2 weeks they can enrich that to weapons grade and then do whatever they're going to do with it? I'm looking at the live chat right now. It's popping. All right, we'll take away the $10 super chat limit at this point. We're getting towards the end, and if you guys want to say something or talk, great job. Only watch you and 2C TV. God bless you and your family. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for supporting the show. It means a lot. Yeah, people are saying we didn't get the uranium, which is what it was all about that. All right, I'm going to check for updates. We'll see what updates are coming in. Let's see what we got. All right, let's see. We don't have, there's a lot of information, but we don't have anything that is super new since then. Guys, I know that this has been a tough one, but we are going to do our best to make sure I'm going to do my best to make sure I keep the updates coming in. We're going to go to the 3-hour mark. We're going to go there. All right, we got a $10 super sticker. No message. Thank you very much for your supporting the show. Alan Franklin Webb, I love your show. $20. Thank you very much. I am a President Donald John Trump supporter, but I believe he made a bad decision today. The Islamic Republic and their so-called supreme leader are liars, murderers. I can't say the R word on YouTube, savages and tyrants. I think a lot of people feel the same way. I think a lot of people are feeling what you feel right now, which is we support Trump. We voted for Trump. We like Trump. But this is laying the groundwork for a very disappointing and bad outcome. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to say this is not a good deal. It's okay to say, what do we have now that we didn't have before this started on February 28th? Does Iran still have its enriched uranium? Yes. Does Iran still have up to 1,000 ballistic missiles? Yes. They don't have their Air Force. They don't have their Navy. Their air defenses have largely been degraded. They are in control of the Strait of Hormuz because they are able to launch drones and ballistic anti-ship missiles and hit those targets. And what did we get? We got their Navy gone. We got their Air Force gone. We got the supreme leader killed. Got a bunch of other leaders killed. But have the dynamics fundamentally shifted? I would argue they have not. I would argue they're not. Now, I might be proven wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong. I'm praying I'm proven wrong. And if I'm proven wrong, I will come here and be the first ones to tell you I was wrong. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. But the evidence we know right now is that this looks like we could have gone all the way and won outright, gotten everything, especially the uranium. And that didn't happen. That just simply did not happen. So, and here's another thing to keep in mind. We caved in a bunch of their missile sites. So you got the missile site, you got the tunnels come out, goes underground, right? So you got bombers come in, they bomb the entrances, cave them in. Now they have 2 weeks to dig out those tunnels, get those missiles. And if this starts again in 2 weeks, now all those missiles that were not accessible are accessible. Again, a lot of moving parts. So we traded American soldiers' lives for their Navy and Air Force and changed what? That's a lot of people are going to say, a lot of people are going to ask that same question. Was this worth 13 American lives? Now, if we went all the way, and people might be bothered by me saying this, I'm going to say it. If we went all the way and completed all our objectives and 13 Americans died in the process, I would say those 13 deaths are tragic. They're terrible. We grieve for their families. We grieve for their friends. We pray for their souls. We hope they find eternal glory in heaven. But I am willing to sacrifice in combat operations 13 American souls to remove the Iranian regime from this world forever. That is a trade I will make. And I don't say trade to diminish it, downplay it, or anything like that. That's a cost I'm willing to pay. Am I willing to pay that for a bunch of old fighter jets and Navy ships that we could have blown up any day of the week? I don't know. No, actually, no. The answer is no. Like, I can't even believe I hesitated thinking that. The answer is no. So, yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. All right. Do we really know what the deal is? Seriously, do you think Trump is stupid? No, hell no. Great work. Trump literally on Truth Social posted the Iranian statement stating that the 10-point Iranian plan was the basis of negotiations. So either Trump didn't read that and posted it. I don't know. But that comes from Trump posting it. Now, do I think everything the Iranians say is true? I don't trust the Iranians at all. I don't trust the IRGC. I don't trust Aragachi, the foreign minister. But that is what they posted. It is what it is. So, again, I'm praying I'm wrong here. I am praying I am wrong here. All right, we got a $20. Voted for Trump 3 times, and this is the most I've regretted that. Trump panicked about gas prices and made a bad deal that would have bad consequences for decades. Yeah, it's a very fair viewpoint to have right now. That is a very fair viewpoint to have. I don't think people are going to argue with that. You know, I was talking to someone, and we were talking about everyone complaining about the gas prices. And people need to come to the realization when you're in a war, resources are going to get used. Things are going to change. People in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Israel, they have bombs being dropped on them right now. America, other than paying slightly higher gas prices, which I understand, I totally understand, that's not fun. When costs go up, that's not good. That's terrible. It is like the economy is not in a place where that is a pain people want to eat. That's another fact. But at some point, you got to understand, and I wish Trump had communicated this to people so they would understand, we're in a war. People are dying. And it is a war to take care of a rogue regime that wants nukes, and we're not going to let them have nukes. So there's going to be some very short-term pain, and we understand it's pain. We're not happy about it, but we're going to take some short-term pain to get rid of what could be a long-term problem that can later not be solved. And the guy I was talking to said, I'm sick and tired of people bitching about the gas prices. It's a war. We are in a war. And when a war happens, there are sacrifices like we all have to make. In World War II, they sacrificed pretty much every material you can think of because the war was that important. Now, I'm not comparing this to World War II. World War II was a fight for our very survival. Very different ball game. That's a fight you can't lose. So people are willing to, people are willing to go the extra mile there. But they were not here, or at least many of them were not. So what do we got in the chat? Yeah, a lot of people are very angry. A lot of people are very angry right now. Yeah, not good, guys. Hold on. I'm checking for latest updates. Give me 1 second. All right, what do we got? Everyone's hyping up the press conference that's going to happen tomorrow. It is the amount of people on social media who are just putting out complete bullshit is unreal. Unreal. All right, I'm seeing what updates we got. Stick with me here. It looks like everything's gone quiet. I don't think there's been any more. I don't believe there's been any more missile fire at this hour. Stay with me. Yes, it does appear the missiles might have stopped. But again, it's hard to understand. It's hard to understand how this is a win. I mean, we said we were going to free the people of Iran. We said a signal would come where they would be free. And that signal didn't come. If this holds. Obviously, a long way to go. A lot of things going on. But crazy situation unfolding. All right, we're going to go about 6 more minutes. Get your last comments and questions in. If you got something on your mind. I'm reading through what we got right here. Yeah, actually, someone brought up a good point. They dropped a bunch of mines in the strait. So how are we going to reopen the strait if it's mined? Who's going to go in and clear the mines? So, guys, I hope that you... What is going on here? Sorry, I just saw something that was a little troubling. I hope you guys have enjoyed the coverage. I hope that you guys have learned something along the way. We've been in this together every step of the way. And I know that tonight is not what we wanted to do. I know that leaving, again, if I turn out to be wrong, I will be more than happy to admit it. Maybe we're reloading right now and we're getting ready to go in and really drop the hammer on them. I don't know. I do not know. I fundamentally do not know. But if this ends with the people of Iran still oppressed, their enriched uranium still in the IRGC's control, and 1,000 ballistic missiles that they can fire whenever they want, not exactly the outcome we were all promised, right? Not exactly how we were told this was going to go. And it's okay to admit that. It's okay to admit that. A lot of people are getting feisty in the comments. I see someone says, you think this is the outcome? I don't know if this is the outcome. I hope it's not. I sincerely hope it's not. But we shall see. Again, historically, look at history. Historically speaking, when you have a ceasefire between two Iran's not a power, but two actual countries, ceasefires generally hold, historically speaking. So history would indicate that this will hold, that this is probably the end. But it's a fluid situation. We don't really know. So, yeah, it is what it is. We'll do, we're going to do one more poll for the final minutes. We got a very split audience. All right, last poll of the night. All right, I want to see how you guys vote in this. Do you guys support a ground operation to seize the enriched uranium? Let's see what we got in the poll results. Yes, many of you are voting yes. %86% are voting you want to see U.S. special operations go in and get it. And don't forget, guys, we got the Dusty the Dog shirt for everyone who loves Dusty the Dog. All right, I'm going to have to ban someone. Someone's been too much of an idiot in the chat. Whoops. He's getting banned. All right, you're gone. If you look, I'm open to debate. We've had a great debate all night. But if you come in here and say stupid things, you're going to get banned. That's just the way it works. You are going to get banned. And I'm not going to apologize for it. Makes no difference to me. I'd rather not have idiots in the audience. Whoa, hold on one second. We might have had something come in. Hold on. Stay with me here. All right, we're not going to worry about that right now. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Okay, if you got any last super chats now, so 86% of you are voting yes. You want to see U.S. Special Forces go in. All right, we got $10. I will say I got very disappointed on Trump when we got to Venezuela, where I thought he was never going to do anything about Maduro. He totally tricked everyone then. I'm hoping to see that here. I think a lot of people would be hoping to see that here. I don't know if we will see that here, but I am certainly hoping that we do see that here. For sure. For sure. I know a lot of people are definitely hoping that that is the case. All right. We've had a great night, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks. We're going through this together. We're working through the news together. We're working through what we're feeling. We're working through theories. What do we think comes next? What should come next? You guys absolutely crushed it all night long. You brought great energy. You brought great information. You made this a ton of fun. So I'm going to end this. As always, guys, you are the best audience on YouTube. And people are asking about the shirt. The shirt is great. Dusty the dog. All right. So I will be seeing you all again tomorrow. We'll have more updates as the situation unfolds. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes, but I'll be here with you guys every step of the way. I hope you all have a great rest of your night.